Thank you for joining us today, Mike. If you could tell us a little bit more about you, your role within Netprotocol, and a little bit more about the business as well.
So we founded Netprotocol in 2000 with the objective of building a business that serviced the legal industry, the whole technology stack from infrastructure, baseline networks, storage servers, all the way through to the desktop delivery and the whole piece, and the ability to then support those legal businesses as they developed, because they were starting to really heavily adopt a lot of case management and technology rapidly at that point.
And Mike, Julie said about the role. What's the role that you play within Netprotocol?
So I'm the technical director. I do a lot of the solution design, the vendor selection, all the research piece, and I run our services team to make sure that we are doing a good job delivering. And the world has changed quite dramatically. So what we used to deliver that was all on-prem when we started is now a mix of some people who want to be on-prem and some that is full managed service desktops, and everything in the middle depending on what the people want.
Yeah, and you say you were founded in 2000s. I think, as TD SYNNEX, we've had a long-standing relationship, and that's evolved over time. Probably worth talking a little bit about the partnership that we have together, because we want to talk about a particular customer and a case reference. But the reality is, just share with us a little bit about the partnership you have with TD SYNNEX.
So we have worked with you guys for a long time under a couple of different brands as things have developed. But you've always provided us with a great conduit into a lot of the vendors, leveraged your relationships with them. And obviously the whole distribution piece has made it possible for us to develop and execute on projects that we wouldn't have done without a good, strong partnership with you guys. Obviously, you introduce new technologies, new vendors, and in more recent times, you've leveraged your relationship to give us access to some of the things like GreenLake and some of these other schemes that are available through vendors that would be probably impossible for us to navigate without some assistance from you guys.
Thanks.
You mentioned just a second ago about how things have evolved from what customers are needing. I guess you would have seen that from a HPE point of view of what you would have traditionally sold, service and storage, to how they're moved more as a service model now within their portfolio. I guess that complements what you guys have always done, but more of a synergy now, I guess, with the vendor that you would have had in the past.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously, when we started, it was all on-premise equipment, and that has evolved. And it's gone through, I suppose, several iterations. Things were on-prem. Everyone then started talking about going pure cloud. Now the conversation is far more around actually a more hybrid model. There are people who have gone to Azure type services and decided actually they want to partly or wholly roll back. And they are starting to look at the marketplace and say, it isn't just the best fit for everything that we do. Our relationship with HP and the services they provide allows us to deliver all the benefits of dedicated architecture, whether that be physically on-premise or in some form of hybrid offering. And yet it comes under, I suppose, the commercials of having a consumption model, which is one of the big things that drew everybody to cloud offerings in the first place. The pay for what you actually consume was the big attraction to FDs and the finance teams, rather than having a big capital outlay. So for us, it's the same technology that we've always delivered, albeit obviously developed and iterated over time, but it gives the clients the flexibility to actually buy it on the model that suits them. We still have some clients who want to have capital expenditure,
Of course,
and then be able to keep it and write it off over whatever time period suits them. But we also have clients who want no capex and want everything possible on that operating expenditure. And obviously GreenLake, well, HPE have done that with GreenLake now, and it's a great model to run with. It started out with things like the Microsoft 365 services. All the vendors are now trying to provide a subscription or consumption model service, and we're seeing it from all sides. So the drive from customers to be able to utilize that is big, and getting the technology that we know and have worked with for 20 years on that subscription model does give us a different approach to a lot of the others.
You've also had, I guess, from the different lines of business you have within Netprotocol, your resale model, where your traditional kind of transactions, but equally your service provider, your own private cloud offering that you can give to customers as well. So you're taking some of the responsibility away from customers that don't want to do it themselves, but then equally you have the benefit and the flexibility of allowing them to do that as well. And I think HP GreenLake gives that in more of a structured approach, both from a resale and a platform.
Yeah, obviously we can look at using the likes of GreenLake in-house as part of our delivery of the full managed desktop services that we do put into some of the firms. They typically are the medium and smaller firms where they don't want an IT presence, they don't want to have that responsibility, and we can then build our private clouds based on HP servers, storage under GreenLake, and in the same way it works for our clients, it works for us to not have the big capital expenditures of going and investing in things like Nimble, Electra, and DL servers across the estate.
Mike, that's a really interesting segue for me. I remember putting a call into your sales director. I think you just sold a Nimble storage array into one of your customers, but not knowing much about HPE GreenLake and the benefit that that possibly gave you around that flexibility that you just explained. It's quite interesting. If we probably want to just have a look at maybe a customer success that we had together. If you want to talk about and probably name the customer in question and the benefits that they received by utilising HPE GreenLake across your managed platform.
Yeah, so Boodle Hatfield is one of the recent clients who have taken the Nimble storage and the HP server estate, and they have done that under GreenLake. So they were coming out of a hardware platform that they'd had for a number of years. They were comfortable with the model that sees them owning and having complete control. They didn't have an appetite to transition to Azure or a managed public cloud because they wanted that level of control within their team. But they obviously, like so many, wanted the consumption model. So what we were able to do was look at their existing estate, design them a solution centered around Nimble and DL class servers, but under the GreenLake model, so that they got all of what they needed in terms of storage and compute resource on day one. They actually got about 20 to 30% more resource in compute and storage than they needed, but obviously they are not paying for that because it's done under GreenLake. And what they've been able to do since that technology went in is a moment where they have actually flexed out their estate of compute to take advantage of the spare resource while they are testing upgrades. They're looking at new platforms to deploy. Once they've got through that process and they've actually then completed whatever the piece of work is, they scale back and the cost model reduces in line with that as well. So they are getting the flexibility that they wanted that you would see in a public cloud offering, but they are doing it in the model that they are comfortable with, and the skill sets that they have in-house, which have always been there, are still perfectly valid. One of the concerns people do have around moving to a public cloud is that all of your engineering team need to reskill massively, and it's a very different approach. So it changes not only the engineering skills, but the security stance and everything else. This model has meant that they can carry on working with the technology and the skills that they have in-house that have developed over time, but under that GreenLake consumption model.
Thanks for sharing that. I think that's really interesting to see how that HPE GreenLake solution fits into what you deliver to that end client. And I guess just final question from me is, that's a particular legal sector. You talk about SMAs, SMB type clients. Do you see that being replicated in that same sector or other similar customers that you've got?
We see that being replicated, and it is a discussion that is ongoing quite a lot now with our clients. A lot of our engagement is about designing a solution. Our history and background has always been in legal technologies, and we don't have a one-size-fits-all solution set. It is all, to some degree or another, bespoke for the client. So those clients that want to have their own dedicated infrastructure, we are doing design work, and GreenLake is a core conversation to that now, alongside the capital expenditure model. And we give them the choice. It's ultimately down to them. What this does is allow us to, as technology guys, design the solution as it wants to, and then their finance teams can make the decision on what the best route to purchase is for their individual business. Similarly, we're having those conversations outside the legal sector with other clients who also want the nimble type storage technologies, but again, want to have it on a consumption model.
Sure.
And some of those businesses, their revenue is all on a subscription basis coming in, so it fits perfectly and maps through that they don't have to have big outlays or other financing arrangements.
I guess it gives customers choice more than they've ever had. CapEx being an outlay, to have it as a consumption or a subscription, it gives them the opportunity to, I guess, have the best fit for what their business is, more than just one size fits all. I think we've seen that with different opportunities that we've worked with you guys on. It's, as you said at the very beginning, it's analysing the customer's requirements, it's seeing what best fits, see what, I guess, solutions that you guys can offer and what they want to take if they've got their internal resource. So I've really seen over the last few years working with you guys how HPE GreenLake and HPE in general have evolved, and their solutions that I guess the customers, your customers, are getting the best of that change now.
Yeah, the split for us is that we can design the solution as the technology needs to work, and independent of that now, with HP, the finance people can make it the best fit for their business model.
Yeah.
And there's not that same conflict that exists where actually finance want to have something that is a subscription or a capital purchase, which drives the technology decision. So yeah, the customer can choose the technology and the financial model independently, and they can also go on to choose whether they manage it in-house if they have the skills, or whether in fact they want to outsource the management to us as a managed service, or what often happens is somewhere in the middle they want a certain degree of management over it. They don't want necessarily to be locked out of their own system, but they want to pull on our skills to help them manage the bits that they do infrequently or don't have the skills in-house to do.
No, again, it makes that choice makes perfect sense to have a bit of a different view. Mike, again, thank you very much for the discussion today. I've really enjoyed working with Netprotocol, and obviously we've got a few more opportunities that we're continuing to work on. So I'm sure we'll have more discussions as we go through those opportunities. Thanks again.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for your time, both, and it's been good to be here.